Hello everyone, can you hear me? Can you see me? Somehow say hello and there's a delay. I have no idea whether you can see me or not, so give me some thumbs up in the chat if you can. Hey, hey. Can you see me? Can you see me? Andrew can hear me. Can you see me, Andrew? How are we all doing tonight? It's a bit of a crazy one on account of the fact that Pete is not here and I don't know what I'm doing. So we'll just have to muddle through as best we can. I was going to cancel, and then I thought such esteemed YouTubers as Blackjack Legacy can manage on their own, so I thought I'd give it a go as well, and I've already lost the chat. Where's that gone? Okay. There it is. Right, okay. So I'm trying to read the comments and talk. It'll probably go horribly wrong, but we'll see how we go. So I'm going to wing it. Somebody says just wing it. That's David Henderson. Thank you. Yes. Hello to everybody who's come in. So who have we got in tonight? Milky's in. Andrew's in. Rosa's in. I did put a call out on the old Patreon Discord to say please go and watch. VJ's in. VJ wants somebody to get off his lawn, or at least get something off his lawn. Christian Lawrence is in. Hi, hello, Christian. Matt's in, and Into the Glory Hole's in at the same time. Peter's in, and well, there we go. And John Grant's in as well. Hello, John. Awesome minis again. If you haven't followed John or indeed Milky on Instagram, or possibly Nerdy Rob, our three brilliant Patreon Instagrammers, do check them out because they're all awesome. So that's 1 minute killed. Right, okay. Let's keep going. I will talk really, really fast because that's my want when I'm on my own. So what we're going to talk about first, there's two pieces of Underworlds news, I guess. First up was the preview at the weekend where they put out Karga's Ravagers, a great little sort of Slaves to Darkness warband, which the models are very kind of evocative of Warhammer of old, I guess. I really like the paint jobs they've done on them, and yeah, I think they're really cool minis. I think there's that 3-4 person war bands now from been announced. The two in the starter set and these two, so it's quite tactically quite interesting. And I think four or five models seems to be the sweet spot. And then along with that, we've got some Lizard Men tees, haven't we? So I'm quite looking forward to seeing the Lizard Men. I'm interested to know what they have. Which one of the four am I most looking forward to? Well, which one of the four are you lot most looking forward to? Do put in the comments below, so I've actually got something to say. Hi Jason, Jason's in. Yeah, who are the four? Who are the four do you want to play? I think I most want to play the Lizard Men, mainly because I don't know very much about them, but they do hark right back to the very beginning of my Warhammer time in the hobby. So I think probably them. But I do, as a couple of people have said, they like the Slave to Darkness ones. I do really like these models, and yeah, I think they'll be really interesting. I'm interested in the fact that they've got a wizard. Is that 2 warbands with wizards now, so that suggests there's going to be more spells coming. They're going to need some more spells, or the wizards are going to be a bit crap. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, the models I think all the models so far have been pretty good. I'm probably least excited about the Lumineth models, but I think Lumineth generally are a bit underwhelming. I'm not a great fan of the Lumineth aesthetic, but yeah, I mean, it's hard without really many concrete details on how they're going to play. It's hard to tell. We've got a couple of wizards. It looked like the Slanesh warband. You have to do injuries to people to inspire them, but without knowing what their mechanics are, it's hard to get too excited about them. Hopefully, Games Workshop will start to tease some sort of teasers, what we can see coming, what cards and what mechanics might be in the game, inspire conditions and all that kind of thing. We want to see this stuff, Games Workshop, and hopefully it will start to come out. We did get not entirely unexpected since it's been on the roadmap for months, but I kind of forgot that it's actually the end of November now, and we did get another release at the on Monday, yesterday was it? And Pete and I were like, oh, there's not much to talk about. we could talk about Nightvolt and say farewell to Nightvolt, or talk a little bit about the announcement at the weekend, but that's not very exciting. There's not much to talk about, but there's not really much. And then they dropped the Grand Avatars upon us. What do we think of Grand Avatars as a play style? I mean, I feel all these things are a little bit unfortunate that they're releasing them, but they're very hard to play at the moment because we can't meet up with people, although we can meet up with other people soon. Let's have a quick look in the comments before we get too much stuck into the Grand Avatars. Just the Elf Bow Lady with Range 5, hilarious. Matt Collins says, I haven't got the pictures up, I can't 100% remember her, but yes, I do remember there was a Range 5, which is immense. Handy for shooting people from a long way away, funny enough. They need to do one of those faction videos like they did for Nightvolt, where they teed art for all the factions. Yeah, they could do with something like that, or the picture in Shadespire era, wasn't there, where you could put together what there was going to be. I'm intrigued how they kind of keep these things a secret, as though, I don't know, does it heighten your expectation or does it just annoy you? I'm probably in the latter camp there. I'd rather just know what they're going to be. I don't really, because you don't, although you then know what the aesthetic is, you don't really know what how they're going to play. I mean, I don't think I'm trying to think now which ones. I don't think I'd ever have guessed Frogthorn and Man Trappers play the way they play. I don't think. The Crushers probably a bit more predictable, and arguably the Daughters of Cain were as well. But just knowing that they were coming is more interesting, I think, than keeping it hidden. I don't think Games Workshop kept things too much a secret in Beastgrave. I don't think. Stop for a cup of tea. It's off a sip of tea. Extra strings in the bow. Yes, the bow's got like the Slanesh. Is it the Slanesh? Well, no, it's the Lumineth, isn't it? She's got extra bows, and the extra strings in her bow. It's good to have more than one string in your bow. I found, I mean, I can child wrangle and talk incessantly for at least 6 minutes. So, it's good to have these multiple skills. Grand Avatar will be a complete flash in the pan. Yes, it will. It does strike of somebody just trying to I don't know, keep things interesting. I suppose it's nice to have this release. I believe this is the one that was given away or was part of the prize stuff for one of the American tournaments, wasn't it? I can't remember which one now off the top of my head. But I think this is just a possibly rehash or just a reprint of it. Fair enough, looking at the rules now, I completely hadn't realised that right at the bottom of the rules there were the 4 Grand Avatar cards. And they're on their site, so I haven't really read them properly at all, so I don't know much about those. But I was intrigued. I spent most of my time looking at the little chart of the various alliances and the points values of the models, and I'm kind of intrigued in the idea. I think in some ways, I don't know how balanced it would be, but I'd be interested in playing without the Avatar bit, but just playing Warhammer Underworlds. But you could build an arm, build a warband with the rules that they've got for the Grand Avatar set. But I don't think the bit with the Avatar seems to be a bit unnecessarily finicky. But I'd be interested to see how it worked, just to play a standard game of Warhammer Underworlds, but with 12 points or whatever it is, and just pick from your alliance. I think that could be quite interesting. So Matt says it was Adepticon. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, they were giving away this set of rules at Adepticon, So reading the comments, we have to say more interesting things. No beef has been banned. I get you having little one trying to get little one to sleep. It's like no beef. I know you've got a small one, haven't you? But we've managed without you. You haven't missed a huge amount. I'm really hot. I shouldn't have put a sweatshirt on. Let's have a look then. So what factions would I like to play? Traditionally I like to play Order, but I think a kind of multi-chaos warband is potentially more interesting. Although I'm sort of drawn, I know people don't like that, I'm drawn to the idea of playing a multi-faceted Stormcast warband, picking maybe a wizard and a shooter and something like Green Iron Soul would be quite interesting. But I think a Chaos one would be great. You've got to have a Godsworn Hunt or two, maybe one from each kind of faction that you can have. You know, a Khorne and a Nurgle. So Garrick, chucking a Garrick, it's difficult. You've got to kind of have too many leaders. So I think I'd be tempted to have Vortimus, although of course Vortimus is what he's 5, presumably because he can summon the Blue Horror. He's like 2 for 1 with Vortimus, except you have to pay double for him, so he's not really. Vortimus, that seems to me that's pretty high. It's only Hrothgorn and Mollog higher than Vortimus. Does that seem reasonable to people? It probably is because it comes with the Blue Horror, and but you know, Vortimus is, as we know, a little bit fragile. 40 not worth it. How surprising! Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but I was kind of thinking that. I'm quite intrigued that Ilthar is only 2. I can't remember her stats off the top of my head. I never had time to go back and look, but she's only worth 2, which I don't think she's that much worse than Vortimus and a Blue Horror, to be half the cost. I think Morgwaith would be a good shout for a leader. And of course, I totally forget, being not up with the lore, that Morgwaith and those warband are order. It's a slightly odd quirk I find in the lore that they fit in the order. When traditionally they wouldn't have done, I guess, in that kind of sort of, they're not as good as the other good guys, for want of a better word. I know that good and evil is a relative thing, but yeah, I'm intrigued whether Pete and I will get a game of Grand Avatars. It's hard to say, because by the time we can meet, I'm hoping direchasm will be upon us, and I don't know how much interest there is in playing this set of rules. Interestingly, of course, it does require, if it's going to stay current, it requires maintenance, because as soon as new warbands come out, then they need to be able to put into this chart. Whether Games Workshop will do that, they're not the best at maintaining old stuff. Anybody who's tried to look at the warbands on their website will know they're not the best at maintaining that kind of stuff. So I suspect this is going to be a one-off snapshot. I don't think we're going to see new Grand Avatar updates for the new warbands. Maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just guessing that we won't. No Beast pointed out Camis for 1 is pretty. It's a bit of a bargain. Those girls are pretty good. A bit fragile, but pretty good. But Rosa reckons the Blue Horror is good. Yeah, I think the Blue Horror is handy. Whether he's as handy as the points, I'm not sure. I could have to play some games, I guess. Jason's not that concerned about the point costing application. You go, no, to be honest, neither am I. Pete and I had a bit of a discussion about it. Pete was saying, he wondered whether they would do it out of more, sort of do it out of 100 so they could get more granularity. And I said, probably it doesn't really matter, because it's literally just a crude mechanism for throwing a load of fighters together and slugging it out on the board. So yeah, I didn't notice the Grand Avatar cards at the end. I'm not so keen on that mechanic, but you know, maybe it's okay. On paper, I didn't particularly like the Arena Mortis mechanics, but playing them, they played out. They were immense fun, and I think we have that game going live on our stream on our YouTube Friday night fight night. I think this week is the. We played it on Tabletop Simulator, but it is through with 6 of us played Arena Mortis, and it was tremendous fun. Okay, right. Quick look in the comments. There's only 3 more. They might update at the end of season 4. They may well update season 4, although as somebody else pointed out, this is kind of the equivalent of the Beastgrave equivalent of the Gargant rules, and possibly they will just get a whole new alternative way to play, possibly. I'm not sure what's going on in there between Anthony and Jason. There must be some sort of Aussie love in there. Mortis is so much fun. 2 Gargants, yeah. It's the only way to upgrade it, really, is to get to 2 Gargants. Yeah, Mortis was really good fun. I think I said last week I found it perhaps just a little bit too long. I personally could have done with 1 less turn, maybe. And I wasn't even winning at the end of the penultimate turn. Or maybe it was. But I just started, concentration levels were dropping. Whether they would have done if I'd been playing around the table, I'm not sure. It's hard to know. But we have got another Arena Mortis game on Thursday. Pete and I met last Thursday night, in inverted commas, we met in the way Pete meets all of his women, we played Brits Bowl on TTS. We met a little bit late due to family life, and so we only got one game in. But we did play. We did play a game of Blitz Bowl, and then this week we're meeting up with the patrons and doing some Arena Mortis. So another set of Arena Mortis, and then I think, if I've got my dates right, I think the following Thursday lockdown has finished, and Pete and I can actually play something across the table for one another. I was going to say do something physical, but you know we can't do that. It's a family show. So yeah, I'm not sure. We'll probably play Underworlds. We'll probably have a last hurrah for a Night Vault. Play some Night Vault warbands. I know obviously they're not phasing out, but we'll perhaps take some Night Vault warbands. Maybe take only Night Vault cards. Just we've been taking only Beastgrave cards. Perhaps we'll take only Night Vault cards and just see what happens. Take calculated risk one last time. Yeah, see what happens. Right, so that's kind of grand avatars. I've burnt into 15 minutes of my time, which seems to be going very fast because, as I said, I talk really quickly when I'm on my own. Andrew has very kindly given me some questions to answer, which I now have to drag out over the next 45 minutes. So, Andrew, if you could write some more as we go, that would be great. That's if it doesn't get extended, Robin. I wouldn't speak too soon. What, Rosa? What are you hoping gets extended? You talking about Pete getting physical, or what? The Night Vault season? We should play only Night Vault cards with no restrictions. Oh, lockdown. You think? Oh, lockdown. Of course, yes. Well, I could be wrong, but it doesn't seem to be going that way, does it? Maybe. I mean, Pete and I we're kind of assuming because we were in tier 1 when the last lockdown happened, and things are rising in the south. I think so. It may be that we end up in tier 2, in which case obviously Pete and I won't be able to meet. But assuming we go back in tier 1, and we can meet, and it'll be the first day. So you'd like to think that they won't change between now and then you know it'll be a day. So we should be all right. But we'll see. I'm going to put my cup of tea down on the floor. Right. Okay, people. We can talk about lockdown and what it means towards the end when I'm running out of things to say, if you like. But let's have a look what Andrew's questions are. And if anybody has any questions in the chat, do type them out and let me know. Let me know what they are. Almost anything. I'll answer almost anything. It's not quite as exciting when, I don't know, Mark Hamill does ask me anything, but yeah, I'll ask because Matt likes to know things about marshmallows or something. I can't remember, but yeah. No, I finished my tea. It's empty. That's why I put it down on the floor. Right. So, well, Andrew's touching on. Hello, Ed. Ed's in. Hiya, Ed. How's it going? Yeah, it's good to see you. I'm floundering here, but we're going through it. Scottish tears are a bit better. But yeah, I haven't followed it. I have to say, I'm so confused by it all. That I'm kind of I'm not really seeing anybody very much, and I'm just doing that because we've made the decision we're not seeing family between now and Christmas, over Christmas at all, because they live up in the away from here, so we've been travelling quite a long way, and you know they've been really careful, so we're not going to jeopardise that now. So not that you particularly need to know this, but I'm not really seeing anybody. So to an extent, whether I can meet Pete or not on a Wednesday or Thursday night is about as much interest as I'm taking in the tier levels. I won't be going to the pub, and well, the only thing is when I can go and get a cup of coffee. Right, okay, so let's have a look at Andrew's questions. It goes going back to the Grand Avatar, and thanks Wolfman Gas. He's been slaying Skaven and listening to me. So which of those would be more excruciating? Let's have a look. Using the Grand Avatar's rules, what custom warbands would you like to play and why? I think just for the symbology of it all, I would play a mixed chaos warband, probably headed by Vortimus because he's the man. But you know, maybe because he's 5 points, maybe not. Maybe Fecula could do it for me. I mean, she doesn't do it for me, obviously. That's Sepsimus who does that. So that's probably what I do there. Providing the pandemic has receded, a horde of greenskins. Yes, a horde of greenskins. Yeah, that would be quite cool. I had thought of that actually. You get as many goblins and noblars in as you possibly can, because Zarbag's only 2, I think, and you could just load it with greenskins. That would be pretty cool. Fecular fantasies, well, don't we all? Okay. David Henderson's not a Skaven fan. Well, you won't be in Pete's camp then if you're not a Skaven fan. I think we're just talking about Septimus is the best boys. Reminded me the Arena Mortis game we're playing this week on TTS is going to be the Battle of the Beasts, and I've been assigned one of the Goblin Squigs, and then various people have got other things. I think Negaed's in there and Thrafnir. I think Pete's given himself Thrafnir. Don't know how he's managed that, but it should be fun. Matt is going to be rocking Spite Shroom, so it's going to be entertaining. I'm assuming he's going to have as many exploding cards as possible. Excuse me. Okay, provided the pandemic has receded, will there be an Agents Con near the end of next year? Well, yes, assuming that it's all going ahead, which I'm hopeful. I mean, everybody's hopeful that it will be. I think next year will be all right. Yes, the answer is yes. Assuming that Tabletop Gaming Live goes on, then we are still scheduled to do exactly the same as we did, as we were meant to do this year, and we'll meet up there and all run it all. I mean, I haven't spoken to them obviously because they won't know what's going on yet, but yeah, the idea is that we'll do that. I'm actually, having played Arena Mortis, I'm actually wondering whether to have an Arena Mortis tournament in inverted commas. It's a great way to meet loads of people. It's kind of not that quick. We might need to slim it down a little bit to make it a bit quicker, but it's a good way of meeting people and just not taking it terribly seriously. But we'll see. There's a long way to go on that road before we get there. But we will definitely be doing something, and hopefully it will be at Tabletop Gaming Live in Alexandra Palace towards the end of September. And then for patrons, hopefully we'll organise for those of you who are around afterwards, we'll organise some sort of dinner somewhere. Assuming we can eat inside by that time, and just have a bit of fun. So that's the plan. That's the plan. We will obviously keep you posted. I mean, I don't expect to hear anything until I wouldn't have thought till the spring at the earliest. But yeah, the plan is, Andrew, to have Agents Con, and I'd love to see as many people as possible there. As it's at the Ali Pally, do we all have to dress up like they do for the darts? Well, I think I'm not going to say for the darts. I'm going to insist on early BBC era newscaster clothes. I think my nan actually lived really, really close to the Ali Pally, so I do love going up there because she lived in Wood Green, which is in walking distance of the Ali Pally. So yeah, it's very what's the word for me? Brings back memories. It's very nostalgic going up there. I love just wandering around the green area up there. So I'm really hoping we get to go up there. Oh, Jeff's in. Hello, Jeff. Suit on top, underwear only below the desk. Absolutely, Wolfman. That's absolutely what we're looking for. It is casual after all. Yeah. So there you go, Andrew. I hope that answered that question okay. When Diacam releases, which of the new warbands are you looking forward to the most and why? I think we've kind of answered that question, or I have. I'm probably the Lizard Men, even though I know little about them. Otherwise, I think the new Chaos guys that they announced, or guys and girls that they announced this Saturday, because they look the bee's knees. So they've got a good nostalgia mix. I don't really normally go in for nostalgia, but I just do like the look of them, and they look. They've got the desecrate mechanic going on. I'm looking forward to that. Looking forward to seeing how that works. I think one of those two, the two we know least about, which might say about the other two, I don't know. Okay, what is my favourite playstyle in Underworld? Aggro, flex, objectives, or magic? I think probably flex. In theory, it's interesting. In theory, it's objectives. In practice, that does my head in, so I end up playing aggro. But I think probably flex is my favourite, probably because it's more flexible. It's in the name, isn't it? And there's something quite nice about having a plan and then sort of turning into aggro towards the end. It's normally how it works, isn't it? I think probably flex is probably my favourite way. I do like doing the odd crazy aggro deck though. I mean, I love trying to make the combo attacks work. But the problem with playing aggro is when it works, it's beautiful. When your dice desert you, it's just painful. Yeah, I mean, Andrew summed it up there. Objective is like playing chess, and in theory, I like that strategic kind of idea. I like the idea of strategy, but in practice, like I say, it just makes my brain hurt. And then aggro is just making those attacks. Although you find I have had games where, particularly when playing the Godsworn Hunt, that you say it's charge every turn, but you have to kind of decide who and when and where to charge with, and normally it goes horribly wrong. Dave Henderson plays objectives, but I'm poor at it. Yeah, I know how you feel. Easier to play objectives if you aggro them off the board. Objectively speaking, I find objectives piss easy. It is, can they push you? Sorry, Rosa, you might have to rearrange that sentence for me. Do you mean they're easy to defeat or easy to play? I mean, it depends on the time you're playing and which warband, I guess. But I mean, if you're playing with double push era Varclav, then objective is significantly easier than it is with, say, Eyes of the Nine. But yeah, I mean, I have to say, I do that kind of shoot yourself in the foot thing. My most what's the word? I most like to play slightly subpar warbands and see what you can bring out of them. So we've got a new comment from somebody called Langhold Lang. So welcome to the channel. I don't think I've seen your comment here before. He's just started with his meetings right now trying to paint an MMN. That shit is insane. Looks so easy on YouTube. I have not tried MMM. I've been painting for 30 odd years, but I only heard of MMM about 5 years ago. But I'm not ever, probably never going to try, ever. We have got some really great painters on the channel or in the Patreon and possibly in the chat tonight. I don't think Rob's in. Rob's done an awesome Obrin, I think it is, painted in a MMM, and yeah, but I think it took him months. But it is MMM. Never tried it, possibly never will. I did follow some of Zarastro's painting videos. He's got some very elementary MMM, which like I say, it does look really easy. I haven't actually tried it yet, but I've done a little bit, or tiny little bit on I think it's Boba Fett's backpack. He does it with greys instead of silver, and it sort of worked, but it was a tiny bit. So yeah, Eyes of the Nine do have their own play style, Andrew, and I love playing Eyes of the Nine. I mean, I feel like I'm an amateur at it compared with you, and Eric, another one of our patrons who has really great success with Eyes of the Nine, and I hope they continue to be good as we go into direchasm. I mean, when I say good is the wrong word, isn't it? I hope they continue to be vaguely viable. They're not good. They're not good in Beastgrave. They've never been good, but I hope they don't get destroyed too badly. Yeah. Have you ever heard of the strategy winning by losing? Well, Eyes of the Nine have perfected losing by losing. Well, Eyes of the Nine and me both have perfected that strategy. Right. Continue to be good. Sorry, Andrew, I meant continue to be fun, not continue to be good. Okay, so which playstyles, in your opinion, make for the best games in Underworld? That's a really tough question, Andrew. It kind of follows on, obviously, from your previous question. Which playstyles? I think Flex is probably the best. It depends if one of them's very good at it and you're not, then it doesn't make for a great game. But I think the Flex games we've had have been the most exciting. Objective, I don't know. I mean, we had a game, the Moloch versus... I'm not sure if that's gone live on YouTube yet. I can't remember. So the schedule on my own personal calendar has gone out the window. The Moloch versus Hrothgorn, which wasn't straight aggro, but I'm not sure what you call it really. A bit of control, a bit of flex, was just some of the most fun games we'd had in quite some time. Sure it flashed up the other night on YouTube. Yeah, I think it has already gone. Yeah, they are just really great games, and I think they show off Underworlds at its best light. Similarly, we had a game that was it? I can't remember. It was the one we did for Tabletop Gaming Live online, and it was I played the. I think Pete must have played Morgok, and I played the Morgwaiths, and it wasn't one of the early games where I got absolutely smashed. But I was playing a more kind of aggro, combo-y kind of thing, and I can't remember what Pete was playing, fairly aggro, and that was a really good game too. So I think probably control decks don't make for the best games in Underworlds. I mean, it depends if you really like control play, I suppose they do, but from an impartial spectator point of view, everybody just drawing as many cards as possible doesn't really make for a great game, I guess. But I mean, it's courses for courses, isn't it? Yeah. So, half an hour down. Right, okay. Thank you everybody for sticking with me. There's 26 of you watching now and 20 thumbs up, so that's good. That's good to know. I think one of those is me. Yeah, thank you very much for sticking with me this far. I've got 5 more questions to string out for this half an hour, so let's see. I might have to start taking my clothes off soon. Control in any game is always shit for the opposite person. Yeah, you're probably right, but I don't want to dump on control too much because obviously it's a valid play style, and I have had some interesting games with Pete where we've both tried a little bit of control, and it is. I suppose it just depends on. I mean, I don't think I'm very good at it, which is probably why the games have been interesting. I think if you completely shut your opponent down, then it's rubbish. I mean, I suppose if you go back to Relics, which I suppose was a kind of solved meta, as it were, which was proper sort of hard control in the end, that isn't any fun. But I think the control elements in the game at the moment are quite nicely balanced. Right, let's have a look. Another newbie question from Langhold Lang. How smooth is transition into a new season? Seems like a lot of decks will be useless and competitive after the release of direchasm. I have to say, and people can chime in if they disagree or agree, the time when what's the game we've been playing? Beastgrave came in. So Shadespire had gone. There was Nightvolt. There was Beastgrave. I think they released 4 warbands reasonably quickly, but they hadn't re-released any Shadespire cards at that point. So probably about this time last year. We're a bit behind this year. That was a really interesting time for me to play the game. So you didn't have distraction anymore. So you were playing cards like Mirror Move, and there were just quite a few cards that never saw the light of day, and suddenly they were being used. And then they brought out the gift pack that had distraction in it, and then they brought their own distraction. You never saw Mirror Move again. So I think now we won't see it because it's fading out. So I think it can be really interesting. Pete and I have been playing with Beastgrave only cards for the last few games, and it's harder. And some warbands definitely, I think probably the earlier warbands suffer a little bit. I wouldn't say loads, but they probably suffer. I mean, actually, I can't say that. I think they don't have the hunter quarry mechanics, so they're a card. Not only they can no longer access the Nightvolt cards, there's quite a few cards that they can't access from the Beastgrave set. So, but I think if they release the starter pack and then a couple of warbands quickly, I think it'll be a good game. Again, the transition will be pretty smooth. I imagine that schedule will probably outstrip any possibility of meeting up for competitive games. So I think probably it'll be just fine this time. Right, let's have a little look at what's going on. Yeah, so hopefully that answers your question, Langholders. There's both your questions. Matt Collins loves control. Well, there you go. That says everything about him. Andrew says when both players play control, I find it very boring. Yeah, I think that's probably true from a spectator. But again, you're probably having a great sort of cerebral tussle, perhaps, or you're just drawing cards and not really thinking about it. I suppose it depends on the nature of the control. I don't play control very often. I don't think control is a massive force in Underworlds in the same way. I mean, I haven't played a lot of other collectible card games, but I imagine there are decks you can play in like Magic the Gathering or Pokemon or whatever, which are really kind of hard control and really kind of just cripple your opponent's ability to do anything. Because almost, not completely, but almost whatever happens in Underworlds, you almost always can charge. I guess sometimes, if particularly in the early days, if it was boards were offset and it was a long way to go, that might be trouble. But you could always do something rather than just everything. Being able to do nothing, perhaps. Okay. I think there's some. I'm not sure what's going on in there in the chat now. Grimwatch Pink Glory says otherwise. More like a Matt Whomping Faces. Yeah. Matt's pulling himself off, I think. I'd be interested to see how much class has won from control, objective, and aggro decks. Yeah, you need to chat to a different channel. You need to go and have a look at the Well of Power and see what's going on there. And I think the chat's just what's the word? Can't think of the word. I say desecrated, but that's not the right word. That's the new mechanic coming into the game. Deteriorating. That's the word I was looking for. Just don't let's Mollen Collins. That's just rude. That's just rude. Okay, let's have a little look. When direchasm drops, do you think Season 1 and Season 2 warbands will become obsolete if they haven't already? Well, I've kind of touched on that a little bit. I don't think they'll ever be obsolete. Depends on what you mean by obsolete. Well, I know what obsolete means. It depends on... I don't think we'll see... With the possible exception of Thorns, they've been nerfed a little bit. I'm not sure we're going to see a Season 2 warband or Season 1 warband winning glass at tournaments. And I don't think we're going to see that. But, that said, Curse Breakers are really solid. If direchasm gets a bunch of spells to back them up, to help them out, then they could be a force again. But I don't know that... Yeah, and if they become a force, then I don't know, would be a bit better. But if whatever happens to boost Curse Breakers whatever happens to boost Eyes of the Nine will boost Curse Breakers more. So I can't, they're never going to be a force. But I think maybe Curse Breakers, maybe Thorns could stay a force. Other than that, I don't think so. You never know with Skaven. You can never ever rule out the Skaven because of their ability to bring fighters back and cards like Expendable and stuff like that. You can never rule them out. I mean, but having said that, they have a lot of neat tricks and things. They haven't won anything for a long, long time. But I think you can never rule them out because I think there are some interactions there that perhaps don't get thought about, and anything could happen. But I think they're the most viable of the Season 1 warbands. And then you've got Curse Breakers and Thorns are the most likely viable in the Season 2 warbands. And then everything else is open for play. I think Hrothgorn's going to be strong. Grimwatch are always strong, although they've taken a hell of a beating with the far lists and things. So I think the game's in a reasonably good place at the moment, but I do think it's going to favour obviously Season 3 and 4 warbands. It's just the way the game works. They want you to buy them. They don't want somebody sticking with their Thorns and not buying anything. Well, they're still going to buy the cards, aren't they? So that's perhaps nonsense I'm talking there. But I think you're only going to likely see Season 3 and Season 4 warbands in the top positions, mainly because people love to play with new stuff. So even if Thorns are great, you will get some people who stick with them because they are really strong. But people want to play the new things. I know. Even Nurgle is a force to be reckoned with now. Haven't really looked at the meta since the Arena Mortis a lot dropped. So I don't know how that's affected things. I know that in the recent big clash thing that was going on, was it 2 Nurgle in the final? Certainly 2 Nurgle in the semi-final. So all warbands are threatening, and you can't always tell because it depends on what cards come up. I just think that obviously the later warbands have more tricks and have more. They're not cut out of mechanics like the early ones are. So I think you're always going to see 3 and 4 being stronger. Okay, I'm just going to go back through the comments now. Skaven is a fair shout out. Yeah. Thank you, Andrew. Reaver's Thorns and Curse Breakers are really the only contenders for the first 2 seasons, in his opinion. Yeah, I'm not even sure Reavers are really contenders. I mean, I feel like if Reavers can do it, Caris and Morgwaith and that lot can do it better, probably. So I'm not sure Reavers would necessarily count them. I mean, the combos that Morgwaith can put out of the bag are pretty devastating compared with Reavers. John thinks Ilthari is still good. I don't know. Does anybody think Ilthari is still good, John? I don't know. I mean, I know you. Whoa, what's happened to my camera? All got excited there, didn't you? Yeah. Yeah, let's have a look. I don't know. Is Ilthari good? I haven't played her enough. We did bring her out, didn't we? It was Cursebreaker Steel Ilthari, and it was quite a good game. But I haven't played her enough to know whether she's good. Perhaps I'll go near the beginning, near the beginning of direchasm. Voltron meta. Right. Okay. Andrew's playing with a new Gobbo warband with the Grand Alliance warband maker. That could be really interesting. More Gox and the new Chaos warbands are the most important because they're the second editions for existing AOS armies. Interesting. That's an interesting observation, John. I mean, I must confess my AOS interest is practically zero, but yeah, I don't know. So I don't know about that. I mean, Morgox, they played quite heavy control styles. So it'd be interesting to see. I don't really want to see that develop that much as the game goes forward. Kept the merch advert in. No beef said party said no beef, just party said. That's why I was laughing. Yes, you can buy these sweatshots on Teespring. Do let us know in the comments if you're interested in one, or t-shirts, or mugs, or mouse mats, or whatever. If you can print it on something, you can buy it. My flies are undone. I'm wearing a tracksuit. Okay, so you know, I've got my jogging bottoms on. I haven't really worn jogging bottoms for years now. I haven't worn anything else for months. Ilthari has potential. I feel like there's a joke in there, but I can't think of it. Right, and let's. Okay, so they've caught up with the comments. Second edition warbands give more credence to the game, lasting to season 5 and beyond. I see what you're saying, John. Yes, I see what you're saying. Okay, yeah, I really hope it does carry on to a second or fifth season, because I just love playing the game and I love the expansion of it. I always worry that it will grind to a halt with the situation, but hopefully with the vaccine coming, we can all meet up next year and play games, and I think that'll be amazing atmosphere at the first Grand Clash at Warhammer World, assuming it's not still got restrictions. It'll be huge. Everybody will be there. Right, okay. Andrew's pontificating on the possibility I might be sitting here without any trousers on. Well, it's just a good job I wasn't really, wasn't it? Okay, let's have a look. When lockdown lifts, will I be able to play games in the garage with Pete? If so, which games are you most looking forward to playing? Well, that's a good question. I love playing different games, which the channel doesn't necessarily lend itself well to, because obviously we're hugely popular for Underworlds, and we're always going to play that as our main strand. But and I love playing different games. The problem with playing different games, if you want to video them and show them off, is you have to do things regularly, because people don't just turn up for one Necromunda game. They want to see a campaign. They want to see lots of games, and people get to know you and then they come back. Whereas if you only play one game every now and again, I think it's hard to build a following that way. Although some people do manage it. I am really enjoying the Necromunda we've been playing. I'm enjoying that more than I thought I would. I've really managed to kind of get over. I don't think I'm that competitive, but I do like winning. So I probably am quite competitive. But Necromunda, I kind of am able to leave that side at the door and just kind of enjoy it and run around the corner with all guns blazing and not care about the consequences. I've been quite fortunate, I think, so far, but that's because I play Pete and he's got terrible dice rolls. And the same can be said of Blitzbowl, which is another question Andrew asked a bit later on. Would I be interested in playing more Blitzbowl on the channel? We're really hoping to get a copy of season 2, and I've been enjoying Blitzball. We played Blitzball on TTS last week, and it's just a really fun game. And again, it's one of those ones I can kind of just leave the competitiveness at the door. Somebody commented on the Blitzball video that it was clearly our first time and we didn't know what we were doing with the tactics. They weren't quite that harsh, but that was kind of certainly how I read it. But it's just like, well, so what? It's just it's a fun game to play quickly. It's almost, if you think about it a lot, you almost ruin it because it's not meant to be that like that. It's just meant to be fun, and it rewards quick decisions. I like games that reward fast decisions as well as well thought out decisions, because in some ways you want to keep the game moving. A game like Blitzball, you don't want to be spending two hours over it. You want to just be playing it, churning it, turning those cards over as fast as you can, and just slinging the dice as often as you can. So I'm hoping to play some more Blitzball. We'll definitely play some more Necromunda. I need to get my head around the campaign stuff, because we've kind of know what happens at the end of the battles and people die and stuff. All our games, we've played one game with each gang, but I haven't worked out how to spend money or what I might want to buy. I'll probably need to do that before we play again. Otherwise there's not much point in playing the campaign. But yeah, so I'm happy to play some Necromunda. I'm still enjoying Marvel Champions. Nobody really watches those videos apart from Andrew and Rosa. Okay, that's not quite true, but I'm enjoying that. I've got one. I might even try to do a little bit of editing after I finish tonight on that. And that's just a really fun game. I don't know that it'll ever be a mainstream for us, because people don't seem to watch it that much. But it's a really fun thematic game. They are bringing out a Guardians of the Galaxy box set, and I think Pete and I might try and kind of hit it hard when that comes out, and then see whether that generates enough interest to play it. Because the good thing about playing is you can play solo, and another good thing about it is you haven't got to pay loads of miniatures, which is good. But it's just a really, really fun game. And then I have got, somebody mentioned it, I saw in the comments rolling by, I have got Marvel Crisis Protocol. I want to try and play. I actually got it out of it was in a box. The box was in a box. I got it out of the box today to start putting the models together. I haven't got that far yet. And I'm still slowly painting my way through my Star Wars Legion collection. And I'd love to play that. And I'd love to play the skirmish rule. And then I found a group this week that is taking a World War II rule set written by the brilliantly named Two Fat Lardies. It's like an outfit somewhere in the UK. They've got some World War II skirmish rules. I can't remember what the rules are called off the top of my head. And there's a group of people who are applying it to Star Wars Legion, so that it's sort of fast interactive Legion games that are meant to be really quick using these skirmish rules. And I'd really like to play those. I mean, it seems a bit crazy and very, very niche, but I think they'd be really fun. So that is... So basically, I'll play anything, is really what I'm saying. They're the things I'm looking forward to playing. So let's have a little look at the comments. There's Crisis Protocol. Doing well, no need for a wingman. Thanks, John. Where's the champions? With the champions, I have got Ant-Man versus Rhino Expert. Halfway through cutting. I was going to do it this week, and it's already Tuesday night, but there's still time. So hopefully by the end of the week that'll be out. Necromunda, people enjoy Necromunda, that's great. David, I know, David, you always leave lovely comments on our Necromunda stuff, and you're glad you've been kind of enjoying being brought back into it. The Van Saar stuff announced the weekend, looked interesting. I'm waiting for Delac, because that's the warband, that's the gang I'm playing. VJ thinks overthinking in Blitzball spoils the fun. Absolutely. Exactly. It's a very fast, and you just want to get to the cards and use as many cards as possible. It's just hilarious. Right. Yeah, getting Blitzball is hard. Andrew, we need to go to America and just put some in the bag. Maybe next year. And Anonymous Jeff says enjoys any game where you feel a connection with your guys. The scale of the games you play fit that. Yeah, absolutely. Rosa can't wait to see something, but I'm only reading it now. So maybe it's the Star Wars Legion stuff, or maybe it's it might be Ant-Man versus Rhino that he's looking forward to. But yeah, thank you, Rosa. I know you're enjoying the Champions stuff, and I do. I think Champions is a really nice game to play. Just play on your own. It's just really entertaining. I've enjoyed every single game I've played of that. There aren't many games I could say that about. I haven't played a huge amount, but I'm not very good. I don't put a lot of pre-preparation into it, but every game has been really close. Ed can help with Marvel Crisis Protocol painting. Cheers, Ed. Always happy to have help painting. I'll talk to you about that behind the scenes, as it were. And then where are we now with Andrew's questions? Go back to Andrew's questions. Here, I've got 24 thumbs up. Thanks, guys. Thanks, everybody. I'm glad you're enjoying it. It is quite stressful, but also I'm kind of time is after the first 10 minutes, which seems to take about an hour. It's gone quite quick. No Beef has missed a physical card game to play after Champions died on its arse. May give Marvel a look. Well, I don't know if you've watched the videos, No Beef. Do check out the videos and see what you think of it. It is fun, and the starter box is pretty good value. There's a lot of playtime in that, just in that starter box. You don't need to go all in on all the other stuff. So I would definitely give it a look. Right, let's have a look. If it's giving them a name that makes the games more interesting. Jason says, I'm sure that's towards Necromunda. Definitely. When we started playing with people with our Patreon gang names, then it was really fun. Matt says, am I going to reveal the league groups, by the way? No, is the short answer. I don't think I will. I'm afraid. We could do it behind the scenes. We could do it on Patreon later. I haven't, because I probably could find it, but I'm on a different computer to usual, so this is different to the one I use in the daytime. So I'm not sure where the file is. So anyway, somebody's joined late. Yongjin 96 has joined late. Yes, pretty much everyone is falling in love with the Slaves of Darkness sculpts, I would say. So yes, we talked about it at the top of the video, but everybody is looking forward to those. Right, what else have we got here from Andrew? I'm getting towards the end of your questions, Andrew. So I've done that with 7. I've got 3 left. Would I be interested in playing more Blitzball on the channel? I've just answered that one, so I've only got 2 left. Yes, definitely. We will be playing some more Blitzball. Pete's bought more. What are those things called? Miniatures. Pete's bought more teams, and he's painted them up. Well, he was painting them up until he bought a dog. I don't know. I'm not a dog person at all, and I told him it was a mistake. And it's already fracturing the channel. But yes, we will definitely be playing more Blitzball. I really want to get the new Necromantic Horrors team. The next time I have an excuse to order anything from the Outpost, which will probably be Direchasm, then I might be chucking in those just to paint them, because I really love the models. I don't even know whether they have a Blitzball team, but I'll bloody make one. Are there any future upgrades planned for the garage? If so, what are they? Well, I am. Dogs are good. It was smooth out, Robin. Soon enough. You say that she's come between us already. Now, have I got any plans for the garage? I do. Not so much for the garage, but I'm hoping that in the spring/summer next year, I'm going to get a home office type situation going on out in the garden. We've got a sort of space that's not really used, and a couple of trees that need cutting down. So I'm hoping that we can get those out, and I can get a home office down there, and we can have it all properly electrocuted and interneted. And I could set up down there. I could set up a painting station down there to record painting videos, maybe, though my painting's a bit shit, so I might not do that. That is what I'm looking for. I can set up cameras down there, can be secure, and it'd be damp proof, so it's not. I don't have to bring the cameras in from the garage all the time. I've spent ages setting them up, so it'd be quicker to play Champions games. I can go down there and I won't be distracted by the stuff that's going on in the house that always draws my attention away. I can turn the internet, maybe not have an internet connection down there, so I don't spend all day talking on Patreon. So I'm hoping that that's what I want to do. I think my wife's probably got other ideas, but we'll see. We'll see. That's the dream. The dream is to have a dedicated proper studio. We can have like a proper backdrop. We can have those professional YouTube channels that have the Kallax shells, all the games on standing behind them, rather than me and our kind of random hodgepodge games there and a bag of cement and a pair of shears just off camera. That's what we're looking for. Or maybe, yes, Andrew says we'll just go to Barbados. If only you knew someone who built their own already, Robin. Well, if only I did, Milky. Yeah, do I need to talk to you, Milky, about it? Is that what I need to do? Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'll have to get somebody to come and build me one. So yeah, maybe we should talk. Okay. Oh, and Matt is trying to steal my thunder. He's put the on the Patreon Discord. He's put season 7 league thing in. I'm just going to put a call out. I don't think anybody's watching who's not a Patreon tonight. But if you do want to become a Patreon, you can join our Warhammer Underworlds League. I mean, it'll mess up Matt's group, so even more reason to do it, really, because then there'll be 17 of you, and that'll really piss him off. But I think we should do that. So if you want to do that, do sign up for Patreon. At the $2 level, you get to join the league. And season 8, Beckett's for newbies. No, I'm the boss, so I could if it go in season 7, if I say. So, I might have to do my own graphic though. And also, of course, if you do join Patreon, you do get to enter our competition. He has a mug saying he's the commissioner. Well, you are, but I'm the emperor. You've seen what happens to Captain Nijar and people like that. So anyway, but go, you've derailed me. If you do join Patreon now, before the end of November, you can enter the Patreon competition, and you just have to. God, I can't even remember what you have to do. People, what do you have to do? You have to design a card, isn't it? You have to design your own card with a Robin and Pete quote on it, and Pete and I will pick the best one at the end of the month, and we will send the winner a copy of Direchasm. So you can join at the $2 level and enter that competition. I can't believe this month's been going on for that long. We had a real flurry of entries in about the 2nd of November, and it feels like a really long time away. Will that be announced next week? Yeah, as soon as the month's over, then it'll be announced. We'll probably put out a final call this week, and then we'll announce it next week, because Darkchasm's obviously not coming out for another couple of weeks at the very earliest, so we've got time. But yes, it will be November, and there will be a Christmas themed competition for December. We don't know what the prize is for that. I wanted to be one of those new White Dwarf t-shirts that they advertised on the Warhammer community page this week, but they're not available yet. But yeah, you can basically get your favourite White Dwarf printed on a t-shirt. That's what I want the price to be. I don't think Pete was a bit cool on the idea, so all thumbs up if that's what you want. But if you don't want that, then talk to Pete and he can come up with a better idea. Okay, what have we got left? I've got one question left, which is quite an interesting one. We've got a thumbs up. Dave Henderson says Santa hat. We've got one question left from Andrew to take me over to 11 o'clock, which is, what do your friends, family and relatives think of the channel you have created? Very few of them know about it. I think very few of them know about it. I do occasionally share a video, like I shared the Marvel Champions Parents Guide, and actually somebody went and bought it for their kids as a result of that video on my personal Facebook page. But I don't really tell people that much. My neighbour knows, because he seems to be going into the garage with recording equipment. It's quite funny. He's a CB radio enthusiast and a tandem cyclist. So we're kind of like trying to out-dork each other, which is quite entertaining. So he knows. In fact, he borrowed some equipment because he was recording something for his CB radio club that they were doing online. So he borrowed some cameras and stuff to record that. So most people don't know. Most people know I'm sad, but I don't think they know quite the depths of the sadness. A few people know. I've got a few men. Most men have a project, don't you? There's a few people I've talked to about my project, even if they don't fully understand it, which is quite nice. Okay, so I've got... Ed says, can you redraw the league, Matt? You've accidentally put the 3 times winner in my group. What do the kids think? The kids, I think my teenager hopes none of his friends ever find out. The other one, my youngest, is brilliant. He calls it... what do you say? He always goes around saying, hello, ASO fans. He's always very sweet. And he is... we have Agents of Star Wars. We occasionally make videos where we do Agents of Star Wars, and he gets on my Star Wars Legion. In fact, all sorts of mishmash of scales of Lego, and he's a die-cast things and what have you. and we do Ages of Star Wars videos, which he enjoys doing, and I think the other one, I don't know what he thinks. I think he quite likes my other one. He's quite impressed that I do it, but I think they think I have more viewers and followers than I do, which is quite funny. Is my wife aware? What does Mrs. Brooks think? I think Mrs. Brooks, she tolerates it. She'd never be on the channel. I think she likes it she likes that I have an outlet. She probably wishes that I made cleaning videos more. Was one of those kind of type of people who got viewers from showing them how to scrub the sink and things like that. Because frankly, I do lots of different different videos and reviews and things, and when I probably should be cleaning the house. I think she'd rather I did that, but I think she likes the fact that I get a Tuesday. She gets a Tuesday night off when I talk to you lot, and a Thursday night off when I go hammer and tongs with Pete in the garage. I think she appreciates that. Why can't you get review copies of the new Dyson? I have actually once in the past got a vacuum cleaner. I've got a Vax vacuum cleaner because I do some reviews on Amazon sometimes, and not so much these days. So I have my current vacuum cleaner, actually, which I've had about 5 years, was a reviewer. It's pretty good. It's a Vax one. I'd recommend it. So there we are. It's 11 o'clock. I have done an hour. Thank you, everybody, for listening and enjoying it. Have I played Champions with either of your kids, Robin? Did they enjoy it? I want to say yes, but I haven't actually managed to get them to sit down and play. But maybe over Christmas, because Fortnite has a Marvel theme going on at the moment, so they're quite into Marvel. Our middle one is, so I reckon I might get him to sit down and play with me over Christmas, because we haven't got much else to do because we're not going anywhere. So, unpopular opinion. My unpopular opinion tonight then is that I think Pete is a bit of a twat. There you go. That's my unpopular opinion. Thank you everybody for listening and all your kind comments. It's been really great, actually. I've really enjoyed it. And unpopular is well, it's unpopular with Pete anyway. Brilliant. Okay. Cheers, guys. Thank you ever so much. I've got to work out how to switch this off now. Thank you ever so much for watching, and I've had a really great time. So it's been really good to have your support, and hopefully Pete will be back to normal next week, and we can have a double header again as we look forward to Chasm. And moving into December, I hope you all have a great festive period, and it's not too stressful for you all wherever you are. And we'll see you soon. Bye everyone. Cheers. I can't remember how to get out of this. Let's try that.